anyone here? Can you hear me clearly, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Is there anyone here that has been in our class before, or are we all first timers? I'm trying to look at the names to see if I can see any familiar names. If you've been in our class before, please signify with a raise of hand. Oh, okay, fantastic. 2 out of 4. Gloria is our mentor too, so that's why I'm not counting her. Okay, you can put down your hand, 2 out of 4. Anyway, I didn't tell you I was asking before so that somebody will not lie. In the last class that we did, I gave us an assignment. So I wanted to ask if anybody tried to do it and wants to share with us. In fact, in the last class, I had said that we would not mind if somebody wants to do a demo to sort of answer the question in the assignment. So if you want to speak, just raise up your hand, then we'll take it from there. The assignment is, I think it should still be in the chat box. Yeah, similarities and differences between filters and slicers. So if anybody wants to have any takers for that, please raise up your hand and I'll call you to speak. Okay, Chigozie, your hand is up, please shoot.
I understood that filters basically are configured to operate at the background of reports.
Okay.
But slicers operate on the canvas, kind of.
Kind of. Okay, that's actually, okay, so that's a difference. That's one difference between filters and slicers. So is that, do you have a similarity?
The similarity I would say is that both of them are all used for, what do I call it? They're both used for, oh gosh. Oh, I have the thing in my mind. Sorry.
You can use the word that you don't want to use. I feel like there's a word you don't want to use. Like
yeah, I said that both of them are used for how do you say it? So put illustration of data or whatever, analysis or something.
Okay. To visualize data.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. You're right. But there's quite a lot more. So I would want to hear from another person. Well, text him, welcome. We're discussing the assignment and I was asking if anybody wants to share with us what they found out as similarities, differences between filters and slicers. Okay. So, any more takes?
Yeah. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay. So I think I just had to it's from what I did that I could see the difference. So I noticed for the slicers, it has to be like on the dashboard where all the
canvas.
Canvas, yeah. So that's where you can have it just like a small chart, and then you could just change whatever particular data you want to change there. Why for the filters, it has to be off the canvas, and then it could apply to any of the pictures or something nature. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, fantastic. About the same with what Chigozie had said. Chigozie, please can you put down your hand so that we don't get confused?
Oh, sorry.
Amaka, your hand is up. Let's hear you.
Okay.
So we're asking about the filters and slicers, right?
Yes, filters and slicers.
Filters are more. Filter is a visualization, yes, while a filter has its own. So you can find filters in the visualization panel, and also like the slicer and work on the report directly. While for the filters, you make the settings in the background, like in the filter pane, and then it's now enforced on the report. And also, you can edit interactions in the slicer. They can when you change a visual, right? It affects other visuals, like other like types of visuals on the pane. While for the filter, it's either you edit the particular page or you edit all the visuals on the report, but you can't select which one you want to edit. In the slicer, you can select the ones that you want to edit.
I'm quite impressed with your answer. I'm tempted to think that maybe you are not really a beginner. Like we need to recruit you to join the mentors.
What a beginner! Very, very
Yeah.
good. This is my first interaction, but thank you.
This is your first interaction. Like our class is your first interaction with Power BI.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I like that. The reason why I give assignment, I always say, is that something that you've studied and you found by yourself is difficult for you to forget compared to something that somebody taught you. So something that you learned by yourself, like you went to research it and then you find it, it sort of sticks to your brain better than something that somebody just taught you. And I'm very impressed with everybody's answers. And like everyone has said, the major difference between a filter and a slicer, the most major difference, is that a slicer is another visual. So it stays on your canvas. The same way your bar chart, your map, your whatever other charts you have, the same way they occupy space on your visual is the same way your slicer is going to occupy space on your visual. However, a filter just stays somewhere in the background, but two of them still do the same job of filtering your visuals. And then that's the major difference. Then the major similarity is that, of course, like first person that spoke, Chigozie, said they both filter your visuals. But now there are some other more detailed differences that I would show us right now. Let me share my screen. Let me share Windows so that we can see properly. Screen. Share my screen. So I will show us. So this was where we were last week. If we remember, we did all of these visuals, then we added a report theme and what have you. Now, last week, I think I remember that I had explained that filters can be either on a visual or on the whole page or on all pages. So for example, when you select this visual now, you can see all the visual filters on this particular visual, this line chart. You can see category, count of sales rep, month, profit, and all of that. All those ones are on the visual. Then we can add, okay, there's nothing on filters on this page, but then we can add something here. Say, let me look for something. Let me put month here. If we add month as a filter on this page, what it means is that if you select January, it filters all of the visuals on the page. Select February, you see that all the visuals are changing. Then we can now also have filters on all pages, which means that this filter will affect all the pages in the report, either page 1, page 2, page 3, all of the pages. Now, what Amaka was explaining is that now what we have seen is you can use filter on a single visual, you can use filter on the whole page, or you can also use filter on the whole report. But what if I want something to filter only two of the visuals, for example? So I don't want to filter all of them. I don't also want to filter only one. I want to filter all of them. In that case, a slicer will be your best bet. So for example, I'll remove this filter from here, and then I'll add a slicer. Like you said, a slicer is a visual on its own. So you select it the same way you select your visuals. So this is the slicer button, and this is the slicer visual here. Once I select it, it comes up. Then I drag my month into it. Now I'll use this to explain something that I had not explained earlier, like Amaka mentioned. It's called edit interactions. When you have 10, 5, or any number of visuals that you have on your canvas, by default, all of them interact with each other. And what I mean by all of them interact with each other is, for example, if I come here and I click West, you see that all of the visuals change. That means they are all now showing information for West. If I click East, all of them change. If I click South, all of them change. But what edit interactions allows you to do is it allows you to decide how the visuals talk to each other. And I'll show us what I mean by that. Let me stop, click out of the highlights that we had earlier done. So now the interaction I want to edit in this case is for, so let me change this month to all to start with. So we have all. The interaction I want to edit right now is our slicer. I want to tell this slicer which visuals it should interact with. And the way to do that is to click on the particular visual in question, go to Format, and go to Edit Interactions. Now this is saying anytime we are on this visual being this slicer, this is how I want you to interact with all of the other visuals. Immediately you click this Edit Interactions, you see these buttons here. On each of the visual have their own. So this is, on this visual, you see 2 buttons. Depending on the kind of visual, I'll do another example, because in some cases you see 3 buttons. Now on these two buttons, what this one means is none. If I click this none, what I'm saying is I don't want this visual, that's this card, to interact with my slicer. Remember that the primary visual in question is the slicer. So the moment I click this, I'm saying I don't want this guy to interact with the slicer. If I come here and also click this, I don't want this guy to interact with the slicer. Come here and click this, I don't want this guy to interact with the slicer. So for this other 2, I'll click this. This is filter. So I want this guy, I want the slicer to be able to filter this guy. So I'll click this here. I'll click filter here. So I want the slicer to be able to filter this guy. So now I have filter on 2 visuals and I have no interaction on the other 3 visuals. This is for the heading, so I'm not doing anything with that. So now the moment so now we have said interact with only these 2 visuals down, don't interact with these other 2. Now let's test that. We'll come to our month, I click select all. Let's say I remove April. Can you see that only the 2 visuals down are changing? The 2 up are not changing. Like, let me select and let me remove May. Can you see the 2 down are changing? If I remove June, if I remove July, the 2 down are changing, but these 3 up are not changing because I've told them I don't want you interacting with this slicer. So that is a situation where you may decide to use a slicer in place of a filter, because the slicer can select which of the visuals to interact with. Whereas when you use a filter, it either interacts with all of them or it interacts with just one. You can't interact with 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, and all of that. And I'll just use the opportunity to show us how. So this works with edit interactions, works with all kinds of visuals, not just with slicers. So the reason why slicer is having an advantage over filter is because the slicer itself is also a visual, so it has the characteristics of visuals. So for example, now let's say I want to change the subject of interaction to this guy, this sales guy. If I click here, now I'm clicking on it, I edit interactions is on. I want to tell it how to communicate with the other guys. If I come here, I say, don't interact with this. Or this time, let me use interact. Interact with these guys. Don't interact with this. Don't interact with this. Now I'll use this guy to show us something. Now, like I said, in some cases, you have 3 options instead of 2. And the difference between the 2 is this. This one says filter, and this one says highlight. When I say filter, it means that when I click anything here, it removes anything. Like if I come here and click west, anything that is not west here, it entirely removes it. I won't see it. But if I use highlight, it means that when I click west here, it will highlight west. So the others will still show, but then they will be faint. And I will show us how that works. So I'll come here and if I use filter, for example, by the time I click west, takes out everything that is not west. If I click east, takes out everything that is not east. If I click south, takes out everything that is not south. But now if I change the interaction to highlight, if I click west, can you see the difference? So I can still see the full data, but west is highlighted. If I say east, I can still see the full data, but east is highlighted. Now let me change sales by region. This will even make it more obvious for us since it's east, west, and if I change this, is still our primary visual, sales by region. If I change this from none, this is at none, that's why it's not changing. If I change this from none to highlight, can you see east is highlighted? The others are showing, but only east is highlighted. If I put west, west is highlighted. The others are showing, only west is highlighted. Central, the others are showing, only central is highlighted. If I change this to filter, see that the others disappear. So that's just the difference between filter and highlight. Filter totally takes out all of them. Highlights shows the one that is selected and then blurs out the other. So edit interactions is really a fantastic way to decide how you want your data to show. And the way to understand it is just once you understand that the first thing you're clicking is your primary visual, the one you want to decide how it's interacting with the others, and then you click how you want it to interact with each of the visuals and what have you. So now I've used that to explain situations where you may want to use a slicer in place of a visual. Now, what I would like to emphasize is that you would likely have more cases where, also another reason why you may want to use a slicer over a filter is just because it's more user-friendly, for example. I mean, people like, because for example, you can decide to close all of these panes, and people like to just see what they want to use. Let it be right in their face. Like, especially if the person using this thing is not very good with Power BI. They don't want to come here. Instead of having to come here to look for the filter to use, they just prefer, it's just easier for them if they see it here right in their face. And you can of course change this either to, this is list, you can change it to a drop down so it appears like the way you usually see your filters in Excel. So that's for slicers and filters. However, if you're in a situation where, and you'll be in that situation many times, where you are managing space on your canvas, there are so many things you want to show, and you just don't have that space to waste to be putting slicer to be occupying space. Then you're stuck with using a filter. But that would mean that you can't select 2 visuals. You either have to use the whole page or use it on a single visual. So those are the things you have to weigh when you're doing your report. So whichever one is important to you is what now determines which you're going to use. And on a final note on filters and slicers, the biggest thing that filter used to senior slicer is that when you're using filters, there are so many advanced options that you can use. For example, like now here, if you have month as a filter, I mean, you can just select January, February, March, and whatnot. But if you have, for example, say, let me use something else to explain this. Yeah, let's say you have location, region as a slicer. Okay. let's say you have region as a slicer. The only thing you can just see is, oh, central, east, south, and west, and what have you. But if you have region as a filter, for example, the basic filtering is where you have the lists, blah, 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 blah. And so what this just shows is that slicers will only give you basic filtering. Now there's advanced filtering that is available in filters that is not available in slicers. So for example, you can say, oh, show items when the value contains, does not contains, when it starts with, so is blank, is not blank. So you have all of these options that you can use when you're using filters, but they are not available when you're using slicer. If it's also something that is a number, for example, if you put, let me remove region and use something else. Let's say quantity. If you put quantity as a filter, advanced filtering can let you say, show when the value is less than this, is greater than this, is all of that. You can even have, there's one other thing that you have in filters that was called top N. Where is it? It's somewhere here. I think for this quantity I'm using is making it. So you can basically, that advanced filtering is available to you only when you're using filters. In slicers, you only have, you just have a list of all of the items in that data point. But here you can use, like, you can imagine all the things you can achieve with less than, equal to, greater than. So you can sort of use a rule or have I would like a criteria. You can use a criteria to filter, but here you can't use a criteria. You just list everything that is available, and then you have to figure it out. Or let me remove this and put this quantity so you can see what I'm saying. This just lists all of the quantities that you have, and then you have to figure it out. So those are the reasons that make, so filter has these more dynamic options that you can use compared to a slicer. The slicer is just gives you the list, just basic filtering. It doesn't give you these advanced filtering options. So that is it for filters and slicers. And so we've also used that opportunity to talk about edit interactions. If you're not using edit interactions, you can just highlight it. Whatever you have done is still valid anyway. Just that it won't be showing that thing at the top, which sort of disfigures your report. While we are still on filters and slicers, let me just explain sync slicers. So this also looks like a similarity, because now remember that I had mentioned that with filters, you can have a filter that filters on all pages, such that at this point, once you select sales, you select this number, because this filter is on all pages. Once you select, say, 3 sales rep or two sales rep, any page you go, the only thing that will show is those 2 sales reps. Those 2 sales reps that will show. So that's how that works for filters. Now, if you want to also now use a slicer, and you want the slicer to work the same way on all pages, the same way this filter on all pages works, what you just need to do is you put the slicer here. So let me change this to month. The month works better for this show. Change to month. Here's the lists. Change this to month. Now I'll come here. And also have another slicer and also put month. Select all. Now, if I want these 2 slicers to, again, talk to each other or behave the same way, I want that when I click anything on this slicer, it should also affect this page. The way to go about that is to come here, click on the slicer, any of the two. You can start from any of the two. So once I click here, I come to format, and then I would say, I come to data and where is it? Okay, view, and I'll say sync slicers. Synchronize slicers and control their visibility across pages in your report. So the moment I click this link, sync slicers, it brings out this page and it shows me all the pages in this report. So it's asking me add and sync with all pages or select specific pages. So how many pages do I want this slicer to work on? I can select all the pages, but I'll just select this geo profit because I also have a slicer there. But let's test something. Let's assume that we don't have a slicer on a certain page. Will I still be able to use this slicer on that page? So let me click this conditional formatting page. So there's no slicer on this page, but I want to check if this slicer will affect that page. Then we'll come back and test it on the pages that also have the slicer. So on this page, there's a slicer here. That's why it should. I was wondering. There's a slicer here too. Well, not on this page yet. So come back here. So now I've synced it with the 3 pages. And then we're going to see how that is going to work. Now come here, select all, come to this page. Now I have 2 slicers here. What's going on? Okay, sorry. Go back to our sync slicers. Okay, so now we have synced it with the slicers on all the pages, the first 3 pages, and then we'll see the behavior. What I want to do is to come here first and actually select all, so that I want us to see exactly how it behaves. Then come back to front page. Can you see that the select all that we did has already come here? Because here we were only in March before. But now if I change this to April, okay, this is removing April. If I change this to just April and, okay, just April, we'll come here. You see that this has also changed to just April. Now, if I change this to select all, this would have also changed to all. So now all the slicers are now synchronized. So I don't have to go to each page to change it individually. So that way it also works like we have a filter on all pages. So that's okay. I synced it with this one. So this one is also showing all, even though there's no visual here. We'll come back to this. I want to use this to explain something else. So that's that for filters, slicers, sync slicers, edit interactions. It's important for us to really understand filters and slicers because it helps you to add it makes you to help you to create a dynamic report that people can really talk to. People can really use the report the way they want it and all of that. So the next thing I want to talk about, we've done a bit of it last week, but I will just go over it again, is conditional formatting. And I will use like 2 things to show that. Yeah, there's nothing here, just this visual. So I have to create a new visual. Let's say profits. Do I want to use profits? Profits by sales rep. How many sales rep do we have? I want to look for something that has negative. Profit by region. Profit by category. I'm just looking for something that is making a loss because I want to use it to show us something. What is the category making loss just now? Region Central. Okay. So all we have is profit by category, but I filtered it for regions because I'm trying to look for somebody that is making a loss. So furniture is making a loss in Central because I'm looking for this negative because I wanted this to explain something in the conditional formatting. So what conditional formatting does for you literally is that, for example, like we have said before, anybody can really design a dashboard, but what makes a dashboard stand out is how quickly somebody looking at it can draw an insight from it. So yeah, I can see this and I can see that this guy is higher than this guy and is higher than this guy, but then I have to come and put my scroll here for me to see that these guys are negative. So what you can do, what conditional formatting does for you is that it can make these guys that are negative jump out. The moment you look at the report, you can see who is doing negative. And how you do that is with conditional formatting. And I will show us how to achieve that. There are many ways to kill a bird, but I like to go the faster way. So you come here, sorry, not here. You come here. This profit is on I want to use the data colors. So I'll come here to data colors. The color is, I should be able to change the color here. Okay. Should be able to change the color. I'm coming now. This thing is doing me abracadabra. So okay, so I'm supposed to, I don't know why I'm not finding it, but it's supposed to be here. Okay. It'll be here on the data colors. That's not what I want to change. Okay, we'll come back to that because I did this. I can't seem to find it. It's supposed to be here, but then I'll just show you something else, and then I'll come back to that. And I just remember that last week we were doing something where the month was not arranging the way we wanted to arrange. I don't know if anybody tried to do that, even though I found a way to do it. But before I explain it, I don't know if anybody tried to do it and was able to get it and wants to explain it. Okay, not to take too much of our time. So you remember that I first tried to sort this column by the date column, and then we kept getting the error that why is it hanging? We got the error anyway that you can't sort this because there are multiple dates for each of the January columns. So what I now did instead, and we can't sort the month column by dates because there are multiple values in dates for multiple values in month. So what I now did was to sort it by the month number, because everywhere you see January, you see 1. So it doesn't have multiple values. So by the time I went to month, of course, I sorted this first in ascending order or whatever order I wanted it to be, which is from 1 to 12. Then I came here and I sorted this by month number, which automatically means January will be 1, February will be, and by the time I came back here, this showed the way we wanted it to show, January to December. So now go back to, anyway, since it's conditional formatting, let me use a number this thing to show it first. So now, sorry, this is called a matrix, just like your pivot tables in Excel. Let me increase the grid. You see me coming here a lot, and I'll just, I can't explain everything here to us. But what this place is anytime you need to redesign your visual, you want to increase font size, you want to change color, you want to do anything, most of them are always here. So what I want to do now is just to increase the size of the text so that you can see it better. Okay. So for what I want to show now, let me just remove the regions. It's not really necessary. So we have this visual now. You want to conditional format, or you want to use conditional formatting in this place. I want something that is a bit longer. So let me remove let me not use category. Let me use product name. It's not too long. It's too long. Let me use as a subcategory reflect. Aha, this is better. So now when you use conditional formatting, this is how it works. So here, because this is a number, this conditional formatting is just right here. You see it under this paintbrush, which is the format tab. Come to conditional formatting. What you want to format is the profit, right? How do you want to format it? You want to use data bars. So the moment you put data bars, now you can see the longer ones have longer bars. I think because it's already sorted, it's just obvious. But do you want to use font color, which is not really nice? Now, do you want to use the background color? It's not so nice too. Now, do you want to use icons? Now, this is just these icons is sort of, you use the own artificial intelligence to put, or maybe the ones that have higher number, put them as this and all of that. But let's say, for example, in your company, you have like a cutoff score, maybe 80% and above, or if you sell 80,000 and above, you're excellent. And so you want to decide which scores have green, which scores have yellow, and which scores have red. Then you come to these advanced controls. Then it lets you set, so it lets you set how you want the score to look like. So now, because I've seen this one, so I'll say format by rules based on sum of profits. I already put sum of profit there. Icon layout. Where do you want the icon to be? Do you want to be at the left or at the right? Or in fact, you don't want to show the data, you want to show only the icon. But let's show it at the right of the data. Then what style do you want to use? If you don't like those styles, you want to use another style or any other one, but let's just stick to what we already have. So now, if the value is greater than, because I can see the figure here, I'll just try to use these figures here. So the first one is, if it's greater than or equal to 0, I'm not using percent, let me use number. So if it's greater than 0, no, so now you can use percent if it's a score, but because this one is not a score, they are numbers. It's greater than 0 and less than, let me use let me use what as the cutoff. Now let me use 5 as the first cutoff, then 20 as the second one. So it's greater than or equal to 0, but it's less than 5,000. This is 1,000, Abi. Yeah, 5,000. Then you use this red. Then now, if it's now greater than or equal to 5,000, so that's from 5,000 to 20,000. 20,000. Then use this. Then if it's then the others is greater than 20,000 and is less than. Remember I think we used minimum and maximum. So let me just use that maximum. Let me use minimum here too, so that the last ones, so all the smaller ones from wherever they are to 5,000 will be red. So I'm assuming that 5,000 is the number we have set that anybody in the company, you must sell more than 5,000. Then if you are selling more than 5,000, you are doing just okay. But then if you are selling and if you're making profit anything more than 20,000, you're a star performer. So now by the time we do this, so we have negative or wherever it is to 5,000 as red, you are underperforming. Between 5,000 and 20,000, you're doing just fine. You're doing above 20,000, you are a star performer. By the time we okay this, so can we see now? Everybody below 5,000 is red. So this just, like I said, it makes the information jump at you. Because now you don't have to start looking at the numbers one after the other to see, oh, how many star performers do we have? Or how many people are doing just fine and how many segments are underperforming. So that's what conditional formatting does for you. And the reason why I like the way conditional formatting is in Power BI is you can really format anything to respond to a condition. And I'll explain what I mean by formatting anything to respond to a condition. See, for example, I will show us something. Now I'm selecting this whole visual. I come here to format. This is normal conditional formatting. This is border. Anywhere you see, if I put on this border now, it means the color of the border is maybe, if I change it to red, so that means you can see that the border is now red. So Power BI is so fantastic that you can even decide how you want the color of your border to behave and use as in give it a rule and say, like anytime you see, where is it again? Border. Anywhere you see this FX, what it means is that you can set a rule to how you want this color to behave. And if you click this FX, you see what I'm saying. I won't waste time on it because I don't want to waste our time. So you can see that you can tell this guy that when the profit is maybe higher than something, let it be this color. When it's higher than whatever, let it be this other color. I don't want to go into that because it's to just be taking our time. So really, you can, anytime you want to use conditional formatting in Power BI, just select what you want to change and you look for this FX. Once you see that FX, it means that you can set a rule to how you want that thing to behave. Because I don't want to take too much of our time today, I would go on to the next thing I want to show us. So we've covered sync slicers, we've covered slicers and filters, we've done conditional formatting. The next thing I want us to do is drill through. Now, what is a drill through? A drill through in Power BI means that, so I've exhausted this whole page, but there's still something else I want to show. And I want you to go from here to that page. How do I go about it? So how to do that is to create a page that you call a drill through page. Now, a drill through page means that you need to have more information on this West. Once you click this West, it takes you to that drill through page and gives you that more information. So just another way of actually adding extra information to your report, making your report richer. And the starting point for that is to create your drill through page first. So we'll come to, let me just use this other one that I have created before. So this is I call this region drill through. Let me unhide it. Call this page region drill through. And what it means, when you create a page and you are creating it as a drill through page, you have to come here and then come to drill through. Let me just do a brand new one. Let me remove this. You come here, you create whatever report it is you want to create. Let's say, so it has to be something that is not already in the front page. Maybe, okay, this is sales by region and country. So maybe quantity and profits by region. So I'll come here and I'll come here and say quantity and profits by region. I went to this way. Okay. Let me put this on the secondary answers. So quantity and profit by region. So now I can say that, let me increase the axis. So now we have our quantity and profit by region. So I want, anytime somebody wants to see details of quantity and profits for any region, from here, they can click on the region and it will bring them here for them to see it. So the first thing is, after you have created the visual, you come down here to drill through and check this on. Cross report means, see what it says, allows this page to be used by other reports as a drill through target. So when they click their drill through on that page, it will bring them here. Now, what field are you using as the drill through? Because I want them, when they click on the region, they should come here and see what pertains to that region. So I'll bring region into this place again. So now put region here. I put region here because I want the explanation to be obvious. But I think I will add another thing that is not necessarily region that we can use to also show the same thing. So I would add, let me add a card. Oh, sorry, no, not on that. Let me add it. Please, if you have any questions along the line, please raise up your hand. Let me add a card and call this count of customers. We've not used count of customers at all. Not first, count. 793 customers. Good. So now this page is a drill through page for region. So what is showing here, of course, is showing all the regions. This is showing all of our customers. We've not filtered anything. The only filter here is the filter we already have on all pages, which is sales rep. But I haven't selected all. So now, how does this now work? So now that we have created our drill through page, we'll come here to the front page. We'll also come here again and tell this guy that, see, you are going to be doing drill through work. And how to do that is to come here to this data drill and highlight this drill through. Select the data point to see a page with more information about it. So by the time you highlight this drill through, so now we are ready to use our drill through page. We've created our drill through page. We've set the drill through visual. We'll come here. The moment you right, Candice is already telling you right click to drill through. If you want to see more information about West, just right click. Then you right click. It shows you the drill through. Then you can see where drill through will take you to. The moment you click this, brings you to this page. Can you see it has already filtered it west? And the count of customer ID would have also changed. Count of customer ID now is now showing only west. And let's take note of what's in this count of customer ID, so that when we drill through another region, we will see that it has also changed. This 793. I put a back button here to help us. So now if we click east, drill through, the count of customer ID doesn't seem to be changing. It's supposed to change. Region is east. Let's click south. Is it possible that they have the same customers in all the regions? Let me check. But I don't think that is true. Except something is wrong in our modeling. Let me change this. Let me see how many customers they have per region. Anyway, so when you come here, you can actually, when you are here, you can, of course, manually override this by selecting all of the regions, which is what I want to do here. Control. There's something wrong with the modeling. That's why it's showing that all of them have the same number of, the same count of customer ID. I don't think that's correct. So let me put something else. But anyway, we can see that all the visuals on this, all the visuals, any visual that is on this page is going to change. So, okay, let me just look for something else because I really want to show something else that would also change. Let me use a let me use profits. Of course, they didn't make the same profits in all the regions. So let me use profit. Okay, I already have quantity and profits. Yeah. So let me use sales. Let's take it back to card. So we have 230 million. So let's go back to our drill through. West, drill through, west. Yeah, so we are looking normal now. West sold 725. We'll go back and use our control click. East drill through. East sold 678. So we can see that they're all changing. I put this first visual here so that we can see the obvious changes. But what it just means is that whatever visual you put on this page, the moment you drill through from there, from here, whatever you focus on, it is what is the visual. Everything here is going to represent that filter. So that filter is going to automatically be here. So yeah, it works quite like a filter too, but you can do, depending on the case that you find yourself, you can do a lot of dynamic stuff for you. And this is where your button is now also useful. You can just immediately go back select another one, and then you go again like that. So that's how drill throughs work. Are there any questions so far? Please raise up your hand though if you have a question. Let me look at the any questions so far. Okay, in the absence of no questions, the next thing we're supposed to do is, okay, we've done slicers, drill. Okay, is it Lucia? I'm hearing another voice. I'm seeing Lucia's hand.
I have a question.
Take Lucia first because she raised up her hand. Raise up your hand. Lucia, go with your question.
I wanted to ask if this card is also changing or if it was also staying static for the sales value according to the region.
No, it wasn't static. It wasn't static. And we noticed that the reason why the other customer one remained static was because somehow our report actually claims that each of the regions had the same number of customers, which I already said is possibly a modeling error, but I don't want to go through those. Why is this thing not changing? Let me even leave it as this first and see whether it will change. So what I'm saying is that 10135 is south. 10135. So like I said, it's a modeling error. Maybe our customer, this thing is not connected to the region. If the customer, let me just come here, sir. If the customer table is not connected to the region table, the location table will have that problem, which is obvious. So they can't filter each other. But because the sales table is connected to the region table, they can filter each other. So that's why this thing works. So that's why I changed it. And that's why it's now also looking like. So what this just means is that even if you do, for example, customer by region, like I did, sum of count of customers by region, it shows the same number. Like if you select all the regions, how did I even do it? So it's showing that all of them are 793. So no matter how you change it from central to east to south to west, it's going to show that 793. So it means that it's actually not, it's not filtering because there's no relationship between the two. We didn't create that when we did our modeling. So that's why I changed it to sales. Sales and region have a relationship. So it was able to filter that. Does that answer your question? And I can show it again. So
yes, it answers, but I have another question now. In the event you get to this point in your data analysis and you see that there's one of your tables that isn't connected, but you need a connection between the two, is there any way you can
create it now? You come here and create it. Well, before you create it, you have to have a key. That's, you have to have, how will I explain? There has to be something in the two tables that can talk to each other. So for example, now, what are the tables we're talking about? Say region and what? Sorry, location and customer. Customer ID, customer name, and segments. City, location. There's nothing you can use to connect this. So you have to, that's a full-blown modeling class on its own. So I would find a material that talks about it and send to and share with us so that we will not derail this class. But what it just means is that you have to add a column to this guy or to any of them that will be common to the two that you can then use to connect them. Because you remember when we talked about primary and secondary key, the reason why we could connect this guy and this guy is because they both have a common column, which is the location ID. We could connect this guy with this guy because they have customer ID in common. Connect this guy to this guy because they have product ID in common. This guy to this guy because they have dates in common. So they have to have something in common for you to be able to connect them. So
Okay, thank you.
that's that on that. Well, text team, you need to tell us your actual name. Your name is too long for us to be calling.
Okay. Okay, my name is John Mark.
John Mark.
It's still long anyway.
No, but it's better.
Okay. So I think I'm having network issue, so that could probably explain why I was lost. So I was lost in the part whereby you were explaining the drill through aspect.
Okay. So I don't know if I have to explain it all over, but I'll just try to breeze through it. A drill through page literally gives you more information. So you've exhausted space on this canvas, but you still want to show further information, or you want, when people click on this West, there's some more information you want them to see about West that you can't show here. So you create a page that you call a drill through page. Now, because what you're using it for is to show more information about the regions, you create whatever visual you want to create here, different kinds that can be filtered by region. So here I created quantity by profit, and then I created sales as a card. And then you come here on these fields, you now drag region into the, let me just remove it first. You see this place where they say drill through. You will now drag region into the drill through because you want this to tell people more information about the different regions. After dragging region into the drill through, come back to your original viz. You click on this visual and specify that this visual will be used for a drill through by highlighting this drill through logo here. So now after doing that, what it means is that every time you click on this guy to ask you if you want to drill through, then you go to the region drill through, and then it filters this guy based on West. If you go back and you say, okay, now I want to see East, you go, it shows you East. You go back, you want to see South now, gives you South. Now you can have as many drill through pages as you want. Maybe one for region, another is for sales team, another is for whatever. And what this can do for you, for example, is that, so you have a front page. The front page is like for the big guy in the company, maybe the MD. So it shows by region, it shows by sales team, it shows by location, it shows by month, by whatever. Then you cannot create individual pages. Like this region drill through now can be for the regional managers. Then you create another page that you call sales team drill through. That one will be for the sales manager. So that each sales manager, for example, will have their name here. But my name is Delta. I want to see what's happening in my team. I'll just click Delta and go to sales team drill through. Then the regional managers will come from here and go to whatever concerns their region. So that's actually the practical application of how to use drill through. So in this region drill through will be for regional managers. Then you can create another page that has this exact same information, but then it will be sales team that will be in the drill through. So now then you now come here and also set this as a drill through page so that whenever they come, no, it's saying no available actions because I have not created any page where I specified sales team as the drill through data point. But if I create that page the same way I did this and I put sales team in the drill through, let me just quickly do something like that. So let me do the same thing I did for these guys. Let me do quantity and profits, quantity and profits by sales team. Then I'll now say card. Let me do another card for sales. Sales. The card. Then I put, now come here to the drill through page. I'll put on the cross report and then I'll put sales team here. Now it's showing all because I've not selected anyone. Now I'll come back here and say, set this guy as a drill through page. I've already done that. By the time I click Charlie, it's now bringing me to this page 1 because this is the page where I specified that it should connect to sales team. By the time I come here, I'll see only Charlie's sales. So now, like I said, I'm just doing this because this is illustration. You can show everything that pertains to the sales. Can have as many as 5, 6 visuals here. Every one of them will show only things that are pertaining to Charlie's sales team. Then I'll come back here and say, okay, show me Delta. It will show me what Delta sales team did. So that's the importance of this. This front page usually contains like the summary of everything. Then when you want more details, as the name implies, is a drill through. You now want to see details on each of the regions, on each of the sales team, even on each of the months, whatever it is. Create a drill through page for that, and you can see that more details there. So that's what drill through does for you. Now, the next thing I want to show us is, which page will I use for this one now? Is there's something we call drill up and drill down in visuals in Power BI. So let me just redo this visual and use it. Okay, we already have subcategory. So let me use subcategory and category. Is a good thing to use. But I have to change the visual type to bar chart. Bar chart. So category should be up and subcategory is down. So we have profit by category and subcategory. Now, supposedly we're supposed to have category and subcategory on the axis, but somehow we are seeing only the category. So why is that? That's because we have not. What this means is that I think if we remember clearly, we did something on hierarchies. What this means is that we have an hierarchy. We have a hierarchy. As you can see, 2 of them, there's category and then a subcategory under. So we have to do something for us to see the subcategory. And that's what the drill up and the drill down feature is about. So if we can see under this visual, we can see all of these arrows. The first thing you need to click is this. Click to turn on drill down. So this activates your drill up and your drill down. Now we can see that this one is faded. It's not showing because it's a drill up, but because there's no hierarchy above category. So there's nowhere to drill up to. But the drill down is highlighted. And what it does is it takes you to the second level. That's the next level in the hierarchy. So by the time you click this, it takes you to subcategory. So now this is not highlighting again because there's no category below it. You are at the lowest level of data. But if you click here now, it takes you back up to category. Takes you back down. And you can really have as many levels in the hierarchy as possible. And I will add product ID to the hierarchy so that we will see. Add product ID here. So we now have product ID under subcategory. So now you see that I immediately added product ID. I want you to be looking at these 2 down arrow here. Immediately I added product ID. This because there's now another category, there's now another hierarchy, level of hierarchy under that we can still go down to. So we'll go down again. And it takes us to product ID. So now we can go back up, product to subcategory, up, back to categories. So anything that comes in hierarchies can be used in this form. For example, I think we can put dates in that. So you have quarter, year, and month. So anything that has hierarchies, for example, in your team, you have a team lead, then you have the regional heads, then you have the state heads, then you have all of those categories. You can put them in hierarchies. Let me duplicate this. Where's the second one? Let me duplicate this and see whether we can use regions. So I'll remove this. States. I don't know how the how the category here. Okay, I think it's region before states. Region. We have 3 regions, then the states are inside the region. No, I want the states to be here. So we have the states. The region is supposed to be up now. Confusing. And we can even have the city under the states. So the first thing as usual is to activate this. Then now you can drill down to states and then drill down to city. Drill up like that. So that's how drill up and drill down works. So that's really there's a whole lot. I mean, like I've said before, the visual you're using determines how much determines the functions that you will have. And at every point in time, you can always go to your paintbrush to see how you can add paparazzi to your reports. So why was this thing not coming up the time I tried to use it? So this is where you can decide, you can use conditional formatting to decide what color you want these guys to show. Just like we did before, the moment you click this FX, can someone take us through what we can do? Since I've been talking too much, nobody has contributed. But since we've done this conditional formatting before, and there are plenty hands up, oh Jesus. Please, if your hand is legacy hand, please put it down. So let's know the real hands that are up. Chigozie, you have a question? Chigozie and Bayoti. Chigozie, please give your voice belle small. Can barely hear you. Okay, shoot.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, this drill through, can you use it on like looking at our canvas? It's kind of filled up. We have separate informations and all that. Can we use it for all of them, or do we have maximum number that we can use it for?
You can use it for all of them. Everything on your visual, everything on your visual can be a drill through. Once you click it and you come here, you set it as drill through, and you create the page that you want it to drill to. You can drill to it. Okay, except card. I'm not sure the card can drill to anywhere. Okay, it can actually. But really, like I said, depending on the kind of visual, but you can always drill through as many, or if all the you want to drill through with all the visuals on your front page, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, there's another hand that is still up. Bio.
Yeah, sorry. My question is not much technical. I just want to. I've been practicing with the wrong data. Is there a place I can possibly get the data set you're using for this class?
This particular one.
Yep.
Are you on our tenant?
My second, just my second attendance now. I'm just seeing this. But
No, have
all
you been added
previously,
to
I've
our
been
tenant?
practicing it.
Have you been added to our tenant? Because we uploaded this file on the tenants. That's why I'm asking if you've been added to our tenant.
No, it's
Okay, if not, do you have access to the chats?
No.
To the chat box? No.
No. Yeah.
Are you on our WhatsApp group?
Yes.
Okay. Can you send me a message? My name is Olaika on the WhatsApp. I'm the one that posts the announcement. So just send me a message. I'll share the data.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, there's no other hand again. So I'll go to where I was going before. Where was I going, sir? I don't remember again. I said I didn't want us to waste time today. We're already going to 7:30. We've done buttons, we've done reporting, we've done optimizing reports for mobile view. Okay, the next thing we'll do is optimizing report for mobile view. So if you remember, I think it was Gloria, our in Choma's class, she explained to us that there are three, is it flavors now, or there are three, Power BI is available in three ways. As a Power BI desktop, which is what we have been doing mostly, which is where you have your canvas and create your this thing and all of that. But it's also available as Power BI on mobile. So if you share your reports with somebody, the person can actually download the Power BI app and then view the reports, view this your report like this on their phone. However, we know that a phone screen is not white like this. So if you send this in to somebody on the phone, the person will now be shifting it, the person will be struggling to view it properly. So how do you make that easy for the person? What you do is to optimize your report for mobile view. And how to do that is to come here, go to view. Here you can see a mobile layout. It says design your report for mobile devices. So once you click that, it simply shows you a sample of what a phone screen looks like. So now you arrange this report in such a way that when someone views it on a phone, this is how you want them to see it. And so what it does is it shows you, of course, all your, this is everything that you have under your first page. So if someone opens it on a phone, how do you want them to see it? This is a lot of anybody that is into UI UX, they do this kind of things a lot. So this is where you put your UI UX skills to work. Basically, it's telling you that how do you want somebody looking at your report on your phone to see it? So we have to bring these things to this phone screen one after the other and arrange it. And the first thing I'll bring is my heading, Linka Supermarket Sales. And you can, so it gives you the liberty to really sort of draw it the way you want. So I want this to just be at the top like this. Person can see it. Then I want this one to follow, drag this one and put it here. Since this is a phone screen, they might not really need this back button. So I'll just leave it. I can put my slicer next here. So this is really up to you actually. Anyhow you want your report to look, it gives you the liberty to arrange it anyhow you want. So I can put this here, sales by region. But you have to put it in a way that the person can see it. The good thing about this one is that the space is not necessarily like the space is unlimited, but because it allows for, so the person can scroll down and almost till infinity. So you kind of have enough space. It's not like, like on your normal canvas, you have that limited space and you have to squeeze everything into that space. But because this one on the person's phone, the person can be scrolling. So you can just really continue putting them one after the other, however you want them to be on the when they are viewing it on the phone. So I can still bring this down a little. Then I'll come here, I'll bring this one, put this here. I also drag it down. Then the final one, I'll bring it here. And you can also put space if you want. Like I said, it's really up to you. So now what this means is that after I've done this mobile layout, my desktop view will still be there, but this will be saved sort of in my report. So anytime And snap to grid. That means it's fixed now. I can't change it. What this means is that anytime I share this report and somebody is opening it on the phone, this is how the person will see the report, which is really better than if the person was struggling. You can go your view and go back to your desktop layout. But anytime you go to mobile layouts, you see it like this. Go back to your desktop layout. So it's better than you share this thing with someone and the person is struggling to see it on their phone. The moment so since you have it like this, even if you share like this with someone, the moment they open it on a phone, it shows like this on the person's phone, and the person can just scroll through and see all of the reports. And the filters will still be very, sorry, the slicer. So that's how the person will see it on their phone. The last thing I want to talk about is, so like I was saying before, I said Power BI is available in 3 options: in desktop, in Power BI mobile, and in Power BI service. Now, Power BI service is the online service of Power BI, which is like, just like we have Excel today, you can either be using Excel desktop on your phone or you are using Excel online. Now, Power BI service is like a whole new world on its own. It has a lot of capabilities that are not available on the desktop, especially when it comes to collaboration, when you're sharing reports with your teammates, when you're just the same way we have in Microsoft Online. Power BI service has a whole lot of other services that are not available here that we will take in, I think, in our last class. But today I will just show us the first step now. After you have finished designing your reports in your Power BI desktop, the first thing, if you now want to use that same report in service to do other things, first thing you need to do is to publish it. When you publish your report, it will now be available in service and you can use it for a gazillion other things. And I will show us. So of course, from home, you can already see this publish button. The requirement for using Power BI service is that you have to have an active Microsoft Office 365 account. If you don't have one, like maybe your work or school account, you can actually create a free one. I know I shared the link for creating a free Microsoft account in one of the classes, but it wasn't our class. I think it was here. Let me just look for it and paste it in our own class too, so that anybody that needs to create a free Microsoft account can use it. Yeah. So you can use this link. Copy link. I should copy it. I say you should copy link. So you can actually create you need to have, like I was saying, you need to have an Office 365 account to use Power BI service. So if you don't have one, maybe from your workplace or from your school, you can use this link that I'm pasting right here to create a free Office 365 account that you can use for your work. If you have any issues doing that, just feel free to contact me, drop a message on the chat. I can also create one for you. I have a tenant that I use for my practice. So first thing you do is to publish your report. Publish this report online in Power BI service. When you have published your report, it makes it easy for you to share it. You can just share the link, share with your colleagues, share with any other person you want to share it with. So once you click this publish, it's going to ask you to log in. Okay, so it's asking me if I want to save my changes first. Yes, I want to save my changes. It's going to ask you to log in to your Office 365 account. I deliberately didn't log in before. As you log in, you see your name here if you're signed in. But the moment you click publish, it will ask you to sign in to your account. No, I don't want to use this one. So you have to sign into your Microsoft account. It's taking a while to just sign you in. Then it will publish your report. So please, it's important that we can just use that link because there's. Okay, I've not used this account on Power BI before.
I think the Microsoft is missing an O.
Oh, really? Thank you. Let's see. Let's hope this comes up. What was all these plenty things now? I didn't want to use my work account. Let me just use so that it doesn't waste our time. I know I've signed up Power BI on that, so. So what it does is it makes this available on your, anyway, it will take us to Power BI service. So we'll see what the interface looks like. And it makes this available on your Power BI service. And then you can do a lot of other stuff and share it and what have you. I'm trying to sign in. Yes. I should have just signed in first because I wanted to show us. That's why I didn't sign in first. Okay. So it's on my Power BI, I have on my Power BI desktop, I have all of these workspaces. It's asking me where I want it to publish it to. So just publish it to my workspace. Anyway, we'll see all of the workspaces when we get to the Power BI service. Yeah, I know. Great. Okay, because I didn't ask you to open it. That's why I didn't take us there directly. Now I have to log into Power BI service. Power BI service. After publishing, assuming I had asked him or asked her to open the report, it would have just taken us here straight. But because I clicked no, then I had to come and sign in to Power BI service. So this is how Power BI service looks like. Got it? Because this is my work profile, these are all the workspaces that I have. This is my normal work. Then this is my workspace. This is where I published it to. If you open this menu by bit, so you can see. So these are all the workspaces that I have. I have my workspace, then I have all these workspaces. So now I published that guy into my workspace. So I'll drop down in my workspace. I can see, why is this guy not scrolling down? My workspace, these are all the things that I've, of course, published in the past into my workspace. Now, this is the one I just published today. Now, when you publish a report into my workspace, right, it publishes the data sets, the visuals, the everything that pertains to that this thing. Because now there are some things you want to do in Power BI service that you need to use the data sets, not necessarily the visual, so that all of that is available to you. But in any case, so this is everything that we published, that I've published so far. Textilers Cohort 2. So you remember I mentioned that to publish the reports and then it will publish the data set. So depending on what you want to use. So this is how your workspace will look like. Everything that you've ever published, the reports, then if you created a dashboard, the next thing I'm going to explain is a dashboard. Everything. So I want to open the report that we published. It's Textilers Cohort 2. You can see the dates, 7:34 p.m., 6:11. So if I want to open that report, I'll just click here and it opens it just the way we have it on the, just the way we have it in the Power BI desktop. And all the pages are here. This is the front page, conditional formatting page, show profit, all the pages that we have, just the way they are on our desktop. But now there are now a lot of fantastic things that you can do here. And I would introduce us to just one of it today. There's a whole class for Power BI service where we will learn more. But I'll just introduce us to one thing that we'll do here, that we can do here, which is creating a dashboard. Now, when we were in Power BI desktop here, everyone can be tempted to call this guy, and this is your dashboard now, and all of that, because in Excel, we call this a dashboard. But in Power BI, because there's something else called the dashboard, we are very careful not to call this guy dashboard. This whole thing is a Power BI report. This place where this thing now is called our canvas. This place is our filter pane. This one is our visualization pane, and these are our fields pane. All of them, plus the different pages, make up your Power BI report, not your dashboard. Now, when you come, I'm already giving you your assignments that I want to give you, Seth. So now when you come here, a dashboard is now, I'll just do it, show us by doing. I have this visual here, or this, what do they call it in Power BI? I have this visual here. Now I have all of this copy visual as image, filter and slicer, focus mode and whatever. But I want to focus on this guy that says pin visual. What this pin visual means is that there's some place somewhere that is a focus that I want to pin all my important visuals to. So if I click on this, it asks me which dashboard do I want to pin it to. Is it an existing dashboard? Because I already have some dashboards before. I want to create a new dashboard. So I want to create a new dashboard. I'll call it Textilers Cohort 2. So I pinned this visual to that dashboard. Now I can go to this page. I can go to this page and also pin this guy to that same dashboard. Now I'll say existing dashboard and I'll look for it, Textilers Cohort 2. Keep current theme or use destination theme. If I want to use this guy to carry his theme, I want to use, but better to use the destination theme since it's all one dashboard. So I'll say pin. It's asking me if I want to create a mobile layout for that dashboard Now, you know the mobile layouts we created before was for the first page of that report. That's gone. But we can go back to it. So I can come to this page. What do we have here? Okay, I can come here and also pin this guy. Okay, see, also pin this guy to that same dashboard, existing dashboard, textiles cohort. So pin. Okay, so now let's go to the dashboard. So can you see the three visuals that we had pinned to this dashboard? And they all have the same theme, because I didn't allow all of them to carry their individual themes from their different reports and come here. Use the theme that is on this dashboard. So now I can come to this dashboard and change the theme or do whatever stuff, dashboard theme. I can change the theme of this dashboard. I can put this dashboard also in mobile layout and then share this dashboard with somebody. So what this means again is that, for example, sometimes you have created, maybe the way you created your reports, you didn't really use that drill through method. You used one page for West region, one page for East, one page for South, one page for North Central. But now you want to have a dashboard that you want the manager to see that shows summary of select information from each of the regions. You can bring all of them from each of those different regions and put them on a dashboard. Then there's still space here. I can still put another thing. And look at how the dashboard just automatically arranges itself. I don't have to come and start resizing it or start the way we would normally be doing on a desktop. So that is so like I said, this is where you can see all your everything that you've done. So now we have a new dashboard. If you come back here to this my workspace, you see that dashboard here. About scroll now. You see now you can now see textiles cohort 2 dashboard, textiles cohort 2 report, textiles cohort 2 dataset. So we now have that dashboard here as an entity on its own. So that is for publishing your report and for dashboards. This is your Power BI, this is your workspace. There's a lot of other things, like I said. If you want to see only all the data sets that you have published there, these are all of the data sets that has been published. These are, again, I'm trying not to go into the details of Power BI service since we have another class for it. So yeah, that's it. This is your workspace after you have published it. This is where you see everything that you have published. And then this is your dashboard that you have created. You can take data from,
Okay.
yeah.
I think somebody's hand is up.
Okay, Chigozie.
Yeah. Sorry, I can see 40 days left. Trial 40 days left. Is it that the Power BI service is not free or something?
So Power BI service, no, is Power BI service on its own is I think is free. But if you want to use the Pro, the basic is free. But if you want to use the Pro, you have to pay. But then you have a 60 days trial period. There are some other service, there are other this thing that are available only in Pro. So if you want to use the Pro, you have to pay, or you use the 60 days trial. So I started using my Pro this thing 20 days ago. So I have 40 days left on that. But I can still use service, just that I can't use it in Pro. So yes. And that's why I wanted to say, okay, I won't say this one because I still want to give us assignments, even though I've done some expo on it, but it's still fine. And please always remember to save your work, okay? Save, we're back to Power BI desktop. Please always remember to save your work. I think that's everything. Hope we didn't see that. I think that's everything we would cover today. If there are any other questions, Now, some people have run away from the class. Was the class too long? If there are any other questions, please, I will take them now. If there are no other questions, by raise of hand, how many of us have started? In fact, who has not practiced at all since we started this class? You've not even downloaded your Power BI desktop. Okay, since I'm not seeing any hand up, I'm hopeful that we've all been practicing. And I appreciate, in fact, like I said before, I'm very impressed with the answers we gave to the assignment that I gave us. But more importantly, I would have loved if we can have a demo from somebody. Our next class, we'll have our curriculum is on the homepage. If you come here, data analytics, files, there's a folder called Power BI curriculum. And if you open it, you see our curriculum, which we have been following since the beginning of this class. It's good for us to download it and look at it, just in case there's anything we're missing out. You can also remind us. But then by that curriculum, we have 2 modules left. We've done 3 modules now out of 5. We have 2 modules left, which will probably take us maybe like 2 or 3 classes. So that means we are coming gradually to the end. So I need us to take our practice seriously, and so that if you have any questions, you can bring them on. And also, like I said, I would really appreciate if you can have someone do a demo of just something they did on their own. Next week, we'll be taking, the module we're taking next week is analyze data. We'll finish with visualize. We're taking analyze data. Like I said, it would be nice if you can have someone do just a demo of anything out of everything that we have learned so far. You can either send any of us a private message or drop it on the chat that you like to do a demo. To be really nice. But that will be it really. Next week we'll go to analyze data. Let's continue to practice. Like I said, the link I posted on the chat is for you to create your dev account. And where did I post it? Anyway, I've reposted it here. I think I posted it in the main chat. You can create a free Microsoft account there so that you can use it to see how Power BI service works and all of that. I mean, you can still use the 60 days trial even to get the pro features. And our assignment for next week, like I said, I've talked about it a little, but we can still do it. I somehow like, I don't know, maybe it's something that happened from secondary school, but I like similarities and differences a lot. So our assignment for next week will be another similarities and differences between a Power BI report and a Power BI dashboard. I almost said another thing that I shouldn't have said. Thank God I didn't say it. So at least there's something for us to do in the assignment. So that will be our assignment. Yeah, Gloria, thanks for being on the call. Gloria is if you were in the first class, you would have met Gloria. Gloria is another of our mentors. She was the one that took us the first class. I'll still take another one. So yes, that's our assignment. If there are no other questions, I didn't finish 2 hours today. I said I didn't want to keep us for long. That's the end of today's class. Don't stop practicing. If you have any questions, post it on the chat. And Bayo, remember to send me a message on WhatsApp so that I can share the file with you. Enjoy the rest of your evening and the rest of your weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.